Hey Cherokee Trail, we are back with another reading in Insignificant Events in the Life of a Cactus. And we left off chapter 14. Connor had actually come over to have dinner with Avon and her family, but there was always like a thing about him never eating, and Avon actually thought maybe he was anorexic, but it turns out that because of his Tourette syndrome, he had sort of an issue with spitting food. And, we've all had that moment, like at lunch, where we had food spit out of our mouth and how embarrassing that was. So he didn't really want to eat with them. But, they were assured him it was okay, her family, and that it was no big deal, that we all do stuff that's a little bit different and, whatever. So he ended up staying and everything worked out fine. So we're here on chapter 15. We're still trying to figure out the mystery behind the Stagecoach Pass Park and the Kavanaughs, the family, and that shed they found, and Joe, and all this kind of stuff. So we're getting there, but anyway, we're going to start here in chapter 15. Okay. Hey, I said, walking up to Connor a couple of days later at his locker. He turned around to face me. Hey, how's spaghetti? Better. I had spent as much time with him as I could, trying to motivate him to eat well and eat his hay, even offering it to him with my feet. I also made sure he ate his llama ration. My efforts seemed to be working. That's good, Connor said. Do you know why he's named Spaghetti? Seems like a weird name for a llama. Denise told me he's named after spaghetti westerns. Oh, Connor said. What are those? I sure had no idea. Maybe movies full of cowboys eating lots of spaghetti? Connor nodded. Weird. I saw Zion walking down the sidewalk toward us. Hey, Zion, I called to him. He was concentrating so hard on watching his feet he didn't hear me. Zion, I called again. He looked up, seemingly surprised again that someone was talking to him. I can't exactly wave to get someone's attention, so I jumped up and down a little bit. Zion, I said again as I bounced. He finally saw me. He stopped in front of me and Connor. Hi, Avon, he said softly. This is Connor, I told him, and the two boys gave each other a little mini wave. You're in my history class, Zion told Connor. I've heard you in there. Connor barked and shrugged his shoulders. You and I and everyone else. Connor has Tourette syndrome, explained to Zion. He can't help it. Oh, I didn't think he could. Zion looked down at his sneakers, then back up at Connor. I'm sorry. Connor shrugged again. It's okay. Anyway, I said, I was just about to ask Connor if he wanted to come over after school and do some investigating. I eyed Zion seriously. I live at this theme park called Stagecoach Pass. Yeah, I know that place, said Zion. Oh, good, I said. We're trying to figure out why no one ever sees the owner. We think he might have even been... I looked around and whispered, murdered. Zion took a step back. That sounds scary. Connor barked. Trust me, there's nothing scary about that place. I don't know about that, I said. This morning when I left the apartment, I found a dead lizard right at the bottom of the stairs. I sighed and nodded. Yep, I think someone was trying to send me a message. What kind of message? Zion asked. Stop butting your nose in where it doesn't belong or I'll send you some dead lizards, I said, obviously. Connor shook his head. I don't know. Stuff dies in the desert all the time. That's kind of what the desert does. Kill stuff. Well, you guys should come over. I'll show you the dead lizard and we can search the storage shed more. Connor slammed his locker shut. I can't. My mom needs me to wait at home for the maintenance guy. For some reason, our hot water won't work. Oh, that stinks, I said. I can't either, said Zion, and I'm not sure I want to get involved with murders and dead lizards and stuff. I don't know if my parents would like it. It's only one murder and one dead lizard. I rolled my eyes and tapped my foot. How about tomorrow? It's Saturday. Yeah, Connor said, I can come over early. We both looked at Zion. Okay, he said, but if anyone sends you any more dead animals, I'm out. Great, I said. I can't wait for tomorrow. As Connor, Zion, and I walked together down the sidewalk, I heard someone do that coughing thing when they sneak a word into the cough, but they're not actually being very sneaky about it at all. And the word was freaks. Chapter 16. The next morning, I wrote a new blog post. I'm sure most people who see me feel sorry for me at first. I think their first thought is probably something about how terrible it must be to not have arms. Maybe they imagine me helplessly being carried around by my mom everywhere in a giant baby backpack, and my poor parents having to brush my teeth and feed me through a tube and change my diapers and whatever. What a lot of people don't realize, though, is there are a lot of fantastic things about not having arms. Seriously, I can think of 20 right now. Number 1, no fist fighting. This is really a positive for other people because I would totally win in any fist fight. No, really. It would be a total smackdown. Number 2, no rough elbows. My mom has eczema, so I know what a curse rough elbows can be. Number 3, no need to clean my fingernails. You can add filing, polishing, and trimming to that as well. Number 4, no leaving fingerprints behind at a crime scene. Very helpful if I ever rob a bank. Number 5, no getting caught picking my nose. My shoes are usually in the way. Number 6, no arm wrestling. Number 7, no golf. Well, I suppose I could figure out a way to play golf, but I'm so not gonna because golf is boring. 8, no cheesy high fives. 9, no making that silly OK circle shape with my fingers. 10, fewer areas to put sunscreen on and fewer areas to sunburn. This is a good thing for me because I have super fair skin. Number 11, I don't have to worry about accidentally using my hands in soccer. I guess that gives me an advantage. Number 12, no fighting over the armrest at the movies. Really, no fighting over the armrest anywhere. Number 13, no armpits. How can there be pits when there are no arms? They're more like flats. 14, I'll get the royal treatment when I start driving in a few years. That's right. It's princess parking for this girl everywhere I go. And yes, I will be driving an actual car. Watch out, roads. 15, less money spent on jewelry. Rings, bracelets, watches, etc. 16, no flabby flapjack arms when I get old. My great-grandma has those. Hopefully she's not reading this. 17, no push-ups. 18, I never get that floppy, numb arm thing at night from sleeping on my arms. My dad gets that just about every night. 19, no one's ever challenged me to a thumb war, which is good because I don't like war. Number 20, pranks that work. One day I'll pull a fantastic prank, like pretending my arms get torn off in an elevator door or something. I look forward to that. I stared at the screen. Who exactly was I trying to convince? The person who called me a freak yesterday, or myself? I hit publish and browsed through some of my previous posts. I noticed that Emily had commented on a lot of them. Mostly short remarks like LOL or miss you girl. Someone else had commented that I was in their art class at school, though they didn't say who they were. A couple of other people wrote that I made them laugh. That was nice. I was responding to one of Emily's comments when I heard a knock on the door. I let Connor in and we played video games while we waited for Zion to show. When we heard another knock, I jumped up and opened the door. Zion stood there looking all shy as usual with his mom. She had the biggest smile I had ever seen. I just wanted to meet these new friends of Zion, she said. She looked like she might explode from happiness. I guessed from her expression she didn't meet a lot of his friends. I remembered what Zion had said about his parents being huge geeks as I took in her Wolverine tank top and purple skirt. I thought she looked pretty cool. Hi. I resisted the urge to stare at my own feet like Zion. I'm Avon. I turned and looked at Connor. That's Connor. Connor barked as he continued playing the game, totally ignoring us. I'm Zion's mom, she said. She wore a sparkly purple headband in her curly black hair. I wanted one of those sparkly purple headbands and the matching purple skirt. She looked at me with eyes that were the same exact deep brown as Zion's. What game are you guys playing? She asked. Just Mario Kart, I said. She glanced from Connor to me and back again, and for one terrifying moment I thought she was going to ask if she could play with us. Instead, she looked down at Zion. Well, have fun playing with your new friend, sweetie pie, she said, and kissed him on the top of his head. He groaned a little. You can go now, Mom, he said, but not really in a mean way. She turned that beaming smile back on me. I'll be back in a few hours, if that's okay. Okay, I said. When I shut the door, Zion sighed and said, I thought she would never leave, even though she'd only been standing there for about 1 minute. Hey, where'd your mom get her headband? I asked Zion. He looked at me like I was crazy. I don't know. We played a couple more races, and then I led the two guys to the storage shed. Connor rummaged through the junk while Zion and I tried to read some old documents we found stacked in a giant heap in one corner. Periodically, Connor would hold something up for us like an old boot or a handkerchief and say, check this out, like whatever he was holding was interesting, when, in fact, it was not. Connor also found an entire box of books about tarantulas. Cool, I said, dipping my toes into the box and sifting through the books. Maybe you guys could carry this up to the apartment for me. While I browsed through one of the tarantula books, Zion continued moving the stacks of documents and boxes until he uncovered a large wooden desk buried beneath all the stuff. Connor and I examined the desk with him. It had a row of drawers going down one side, but those were locked. Where do you think the key is? Zion asked me. I shrugged. This desk is probably like 50 years old. It could be anywhere. You know how to pry it open? Zion shook his head. It's so dusty in here, he coughed. My mom's going to be back soon. I sighed. Yeah, I guess we can give up for today. Wait, look, Connor said. He reached under the desk and pulled out an old guitar. It was pretty beaten up from neglect, and the strings were missing. On the back of it, in very small letters, someone had carved the initials A, B, C. What do you think they stand for? Connor asked. The alphabet? No, I ran a toe over the carved letters. Something, Kavanaugh. Ooh, they're finding some more clues. Okay, 2 chapters. So now there's like a posse of 3 of them. And Zion has come over, and, his mom seems pretty nice and fun, although I think he thinks she's a little overprotective, but Avon really likes the way she dresses and her purple headband. The thing that was a little disappointing was at the end of the first chapter we read today, was that they heard as they were walking down the hall, the 3 of them, that little thing that sometimes kids will do, and then they're sort of saying something underneath their breath, trying to disguise it, because basically it's not a very nice thing to say, whatever it is, so they're trying to disguise it. So honestly, why would you do that? But it does happen lots, and I'm sure at some point we've all had that sort of happen to us. And Avon, she knows what it is. She knows that somebody's like calling them a name, and the name they're calling them is freaks. And I think, the 3 of them do have some differences from other people, but they also have plenty more similarities than differences to other kids in their class. And yet some kids are obviously just picking or noticing their differences and not how they are really more alike than different to all the other kids in the class. But here's the thing. Avon's like, it's okay. The three of them have made like this group. And, you know, they seem like smart and capable and persistent and interesting. So she sort of addresses it a little bit on her blog the next day, where she writes in all those different, you know, she's sort of like making fun of, in a way. Like she's making fun a little of herself, you know, like she knows that it's a little bit, she knows it's different not to have arms. I mean, she knows, she's smart. And so she's sort of like saying, you know what, I know I don't have any arms, and I know y'all are thinking like that's horrible, but I'm going to tell you why it's not so horrible. And like, so I have all these reasons that it's not horrible, and some of them are pretty good. Like she didn't have to shave her armpits. I don't remember if she put that one on there, but that's a good one. You know, so I think that, you know, she's like, and you know, at least the good thing is that, oh, and then did you see on number 14 where she's going to learn how to drive? Have you even thought about that? Like, she'll be driving. And a lot of people drive, maybe they actually have arms, but they can't use them. Maybe they've had a stroke. I, in fact, have a friend who had a stroke, and she can't use both her arms. So she actually uses, like, buttons, because she can't use her fingers. And she can't use her feet for the brake, because they're not very strong. And so, yeah, they've learned different ways to drive the car. So there's all kinds of ways that we can do things differently, right? Not just because we're born without arms. Anyway, I thought the good thing was that her friend Emily from Kansas has been talking to her, you know, leaving nice comments. And it seems like there weren't really any horrible comments left on her blog, that most of them wrote that I made them laugh. And isn't that a good way? That's a great way to make friends, to feel comfortable where you can laugh at yourself, you can make fun jokes. It makes people feel comfortable, you know, not making fun of people, but just making fun comments, or just even be able to laugh at yourself. So, and truthfully, that's like, shows that super healthy, that you can laugh at yourself and not take yourself so seriously. Because don't we all like sort of mess up sometimes? I know I do. Sometimes we make mistakes, and we just have to be able to be like, okay, like we trip up the stairs and everybody sees us, and it's like, whatever. Sometimes things happen, right? It's life. So I love the fact that she has that blog, because I think it's a good outlet. How many of us write journals? I waved my hand, although I'm honestly not very good at journals. I'll start them and then not keep up with it. But I know some people, especially like creative people and artists right now, are doing, some of the people I follow are writing in journals, because during this time when we're at home, it's a way to like let out their feelings and express themselves. So I think Avon's blog is that same purpose. Sort of lets you get your thoughts out, your feelings out in a way that's not hurtful, and it just lets you express yourself. If you think about it, authors are basically just expressing their feelings and their thoughts, even in a fiction book, a storybook. Somebody once told me that everybody has a book inside them. Maybe we do. We probably have a story inside us to tell. I don't know if I could write a book, but I sure like reading them. Thanks for joining me in these next 2 chapters, and I hope that you are having a good time out in this great weather, and that you're out writing books and sleeping under the stars. You know, that's my thing. And howling at 8 o'clock and enjoying that time with your family, because Soon enough, we'll all be back to our normal routines, and we will miss all the special time of being together and being with family. Okay, miss you all. Cannot wait to see you when we are back at school. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.